The 2007 New York Giants were a good football team that, of course, rode the great playoff run to beat the then undefeated New England Patriots in one of the biggest upsets in sports history. But it was the 2008 Giants that were even better in a season that was disappointing. Jerry Reese followed up his great '07 draft with another good 2008 draft. They did lose Michael Strahan, he retired, and Osi Umenyiora, another great member of that defense, was gone for the season with a knee injury. Behind a really strong offensive line and still a solid defense, the 2008 Giants were very good, offensively and defensively. They dominated both sides of the ball. As you can see right here, they scored 26 points a game, which is third in the NFL, and they only gave up 18 points a game, which is fifth best in the NFL. But after an 11-1 start to the season, they finished 1-3 in their final four games and lost in the divisional playoffs to the Philadelphia Eagles. The quarterback position, of course, was held down by Eli Manning, coming off of a okay regular season, but a great playoffs in 2007. Eli had arguably one of his better years in his career, completing 60% of his passes, just over 3,000 yards, but 21 touchdowns to just 10 interceptions, which was the lowest he had in a full season throughout his entire career. So Eli, more of a game manager than anything, but still had a great season. The offense was carried in large part by the running game. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Brandon Jacobs, Derek Ward, and Ahmad Bradshaw. The three of them, incredible as you can see, combining for well over 2,000 yards. Two 1,000-yard rushers, Brandon Jacobs with 15 touchdowns. Derek Ward was very effective in the receiving game as well, while rushing for over 1,000 yards. In total, the Giants ran for 2,518 yards and a league-high 19 touchdowns, the best team in the NFL on the ground by far. And even though the ground game was as good as it was, the Giants' receiving core was actually very solid. Of course, Plexico Burress, who we will get to in a moment, had himself a solid season in 10 games. Amani Toomer in his last year put up a very good season as well. Steve Smith, the leading receiver with 57 receptions. Dominic Hickson led the team with 596 yards. Again, the ball was spread around very well between these four receivers to complement the incredible ground game the Giants had. And of course, we can't forget about the Giants' top 5 ranked defense, and they were carried large in part from the defensive line. Even without Osi and Michael Strahan, this Giants defense was able to get to the quarterback, specifically from the main 4 starters on the defensive line. As you can see right there, that's almost 30 sacks between them. They had 42 as a team. The defense was very good. Of course, like I said, giving up just 18.4 points a game, and that's what really helped the Giants win 12 games all season, the strength of their defense and their great running game. From weeks 7 through week 13, the Giants went on a 6-game winning streak that included 4 victories against 4 very big teams in particular. The Steelers, the Eagles, Ravens, and Cardinals were all 4 of the representatives in the conference championship weekend in the 2008 season. Very important to note. Another interesting note here is the Arizona Cardinal game where they scored 37 points. Plexico Burress, while he didn't play a lot in that game, was still there. When Burress was gone, the following week they ended up beating the Redskins, but as you can see, the offensive output did drop tremendously, and that was a huge point in the 2007 season, a huge turning point for the Giants. Even though they won that game against the Redskins, you can see now teams were able to really lock down on the Giants' run game, and you were going to really see the turning point of the Giants' offense just kind of go from really good to really struggling at that point in time. And that's when it happened. On November 28th, 2008, in a New York City nightclub, the Giants' season took a turn for the worse when top target, I won't say top receiver on the team because his numbers weren't that good, but top Eli Manning target, Plexico Burress, shoots himself in the leg, misses the rest of the season, and even though the Giants won the following week against the Redskins, they only scored 23 points, and you saw the offense really start to struggle. They did win the Week 16 matchup against the Carolina Panthers in overtime. They put up 34 points, but that was the only game where you really saw the Giants offense play well in that Final Four, or even the Final 5 games if you want to count the playoff, if you have to count the playoff game. The Final 4 games of the regular season, though, 14 points in the loss to the Eagles, 8 points in the loss to the Cowboys, and 19 in the loss to the Vikings. To be fair, Week 17, the Giants had already clinched the number one spot, so they didn't really need to win that game. But you were starting to see the teams key in on the Giants' biggest threat offensively, that being the ground game. And without Plexico Burress there in his 6'5" frame, Eli Manning's number one target would then be Steve Smith. He was more of a route-running slot receiver. Amani Toomer, he was at no point in his career to be the number one option. Dominic Hickson, solid year, but again, not a number one receiver. So now, with the biggest receiver on the team literally being gone, all you really had to do was stop the ground game, and you really had your way of beating the New York Giants. And you were starting to see it really happen. Eli and company just could not score a lot of points, and that was more evident than ever in the playoff game, in which they only scored 11 points in the loss to the Eagles at home, and the Giants ended up missing a chance at a repeat. I really feel like, I'm not just saying this as a fan, but when you look at the Giants with Burress when they were healthy that year, they were almost unstoppable. They beat all four of the teams that were represented in the conference championship. They beat both Super Bowl teams that year, the Steelers and the Cardinals. So I don't want to act like, it was a guarantee, but if there was ever a time for the Giants to say, yeah, they should have been champions that year, it was 2008. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Eli was playing great. The running game was incredible. And if Plexico Burress doesn't shoot himself, do the New York Giants repeat as champions? I would love to know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.